Live from Studio 46, this is CBS 2 News This Morning.
Preventing a surge of coronavirus cases in New York hospitals, Governor Cuomo lays out a new plan as the city tries to make it easier to get a COVID test.
New restrictions in New Jersey, indoor sports canceled, and smaller limits on outdoor gatherings.
Also, you are waking up to the mildest part of the day because we had some cold temperatures coming up in our forecast.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December 1st. I'm Chris Wragge.
I'm Mary Calvi. Welcome to CBS News This Morning. Day's top stories coming your way in just a moment, but right now, 5:29. Let's get a check on that forecast. Temperatures feeling pretty good today for this first day of December.
They really do. I mean, especially for those of us who are early risers.
Now is the time. Now's the time to be up.
This is it. Dark and early, folks. That's where it's at. Dark and early. Yes, today you will definitely experience the warmest temp of the day if you're up right now. If you're out right now, I want to show you these current temperatures because we're at 52 degrees for Cresskill, 53 for Katona. We've got 56 for Quogue, for Huntington and Central Park, and then 57 for Darien. A little bit cooler as we head inland, as is usually the case. But 56 degrees right now in Central Park will likely go down as the high temperature for the day because we are expecting temperatures to fall as the hours go on, and before sunset we should be right around 47 degrees. We'll also have a lot more clouds in the mix today, so we'll call it partly sunny once the sun comes up, but overall we will see some periods of time where it is mostly cloudy today, and we even have a chance to see some showers. It's not a great chance, a 30 to 40% chance that early this afternoon we could see some shower activity from this departing area of low pressure. So we will see the warmest part of the day right now. Temperatures will continue to fall throughout the day. Showers are possible, not likely, but possible as we head into early afternoon, and as I mentioned, by sunset, 47 degrees. So tomorrow you'll need to break out your real coat. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But for now, Chris, I'll send it back to you.
Elise, thank you. New this morning, police say a 63-year-old man was struck and killed by an MTA bus on Staten Island. It happened as he attempted to cross the street at Highland Boulevard and Ebbets Avenue shortly after 10 last night. Police say he was walking within the crosswalk but against the pedestrian traffic signal. He's identified as Patrick Meehan of Staten Island. The bus driver stayed at the scene and has not been charged.
Now to the coronavirus pandemic. With COVID cases rising in the region, there's growing concern about hospitals being overwhelmed with patients this winter.
The numbers are already spiking, and this morning both the city and state are taking action. CBS News' John Diaz joins us live from Mount Sinai West in Manhattan. John?
Yeah, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Mary. Local leaders telling us that they are still concerned about the positivity rate, but pivoting a bit, saying that their main concern now, though, is hospital capacity and battling back the number of people hospitalized.
I think of this as a war. COVID is an enemy that we're dealing with.
Governor Cuomo Monday said the state needs more frontline troops to fight the virus.
We are now worried about overwhelming the hospital system.
Sunday, the state reported 3,500 hospitalizations, a frightening number we first saw in March. So as part one of the governor's emergency hospital measures in the second wave, he's calling on every facility to identify retired doctors and nurses that could lessen the burden in the so-called battlefields, pointing out we can no longer depend on help from elsewhere. Hospitals nationwide are strained.
We're already experiencing staff shortages. Staff just gets exhausted after a while. They've had a horrendous year. To now go through this again with emergency rooms and a high number of COVID patients coming in.
The governor also said we need more emergency field hospitals, which we're already seeing on Staten Island. Monday, 3 new COVID treatment centers opened in the city. This one in the hard-hit Bronx will give patients in recovery access to cardiologists, pulmonologists, and primary care doctors. This city has opened 25 new mobile testing centers in the past week.
Whether you traveled or you didn't travel, we're encouraging people to get tested.
And with one of the biggest complaints being the long lines, this city is now posting wait times at its testing centers. In fact, yesterday afternoon, we saw no lines at all outside these 2 facilities in Manhattan.
The bottom line is, get tested.
And Governor Cuomo adding that if we see a true hospitalization crisis in the near future, the state could possibly do another New York on pause. We're live this morning from Mount Sinai West Hospital. John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
John, thank you. 5:34 right now, and happening today, the CDC holds an emergency meeting to decide on who will get first access to a coronavirus vaccine. The agency wants to get ahead of FDA approval of a vaccine candidate and a Friday deadline for states to submit their vaccine distribution plans. Moderna is the second company to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization of its vaccine. The company says it's just over 94% effective against COVID-19 and appears to completely protect against severe disease and death. Moderna says it's on track to have 20 million doses ready by the end of the year.
Well, new COVID-19 restrictions are coming to New Jersey. Governor Murphy is now focusing on outdoor gatherings and indoor sports. CBS News' Nick Caloway reports.
Governor Phil Murphy is putting a full pause on all indoor youth and adult sports, citing outbreaks and the need to slow the spread of coronavirus. Teams are getting some last-minute practices in before indoor sports are put on ice. Some hockey parents we talked to at Cody Arena in West Orange saw this coming. Still, they're sad for the kids and all the work they put in.
So it's hard to be shut down, but we understand we all have to stay safe and healthy.
Everything's been safe. We haven't even had a scare on the team, so it's a little disappointing, especially being homeschooled right now. It's their only activity during the day to get out.
Other athletes like Nathan Welsh, a swimmer at Westfield High School, say sports are a much-needed break from screen time.
Swimming helps me balance schoolwork, and it's like just a daily part of my schedule and routine.
New Jersey is also retightening the limit on outdoor gatherings to 25 people, effective next Monday. This does not affect outdoor dining, and religious and political activities are exempt, along with funeral services and wedding ceremonies.
The gathering limits are back to what they were in May and June, when we all came together and crushed the curve.
New Jersey's positivity rate has increased to 11.34%, and hospitalizations are rising. But the governor shot down rumors of a statewide shutdown like in March. Meanwhile, parents of young hockey players are hoping those numbers go down so their kids can get back on the ice soon.
Hopefully the numbers come down a little bit, and then the governor thinks it's a good move to open everything back up again.
That ban on indoor sports will go into effect on Saturday, December 5th through January 2nd. In West Orange, New Jersey, Nick Caloway, CBS 2 News.
5:36 right now. Happening today, nurses at a Westchester County hospital are set to go on a 2-day strike starting this morning. Staff members at Montefiore New Rochelle Hospital have been negotiating a new contract but failed to reach agreement last night. They also say the hospital is understaffed and lacks personal protective equipment needed during the pandemic.
Regular unit, you should be 1 to 5. I walked up there today, it was 1 to 11, 1 to 10, and then a nurse got sick and it was like 2 nurses for 31 patients.
They continue to staff the hospital at an unacceptable level, and it puts nurses in harm's way, it puts patients in harm's way.
The strike is set to begin at 7 this morning. Hospital officials have said they have a contingency plan to stay open, including potentially transferring some patients.
Well, and the spike in coronavirus cases is shutting down parts of the court system this morning. The Southern District of New York, part of the federal court system, is suspending all in-person operations until January 15th. That means all jury trials are being halted, with new dates to be announced later. Criminal matters like arraignments, pleas, and sentencing will be conducted remotely, and so will all civil proceedings like hearings and bench trials.
5:37 right now. A controversial member of the White House coronavirus task force has resigned. Dr. Scott Atlas was a proponent of things like herd immunity, and he even urged people to rise up against some stricter health measures. CBS News' Dick Brennan has more.
Yeah, I think that Dr. Redfield misstated something there.
Dr. Scott Atlas was the controversial coronavirus advisor to the president, never afraid to speak his mind.
You're supposed to believe the science, and I'm telling you the science.
He often crossed swords with members of the coronavirus task force. He tweeted a resignation letter. No comment from the White House, but President Trump has been unloading on Twitter as he tries to reverse the election results.
All 15 counties have certified their results.
Arizona made the results official for Mr. Biden. The Wisconsin recount cost the Trump campaign nearly $3 million, but it netted 74 more votes for the Biden total. So the president is turning to Georgia.
The truth matters.
Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger disputes any fraud claims, and with 2 Senate runoffs upcoming, President Trump may be discouraging GOP voters from turning out, according to Republican fundraiser Dan Everhart.
Acting like a sore loser is just plain not helpful.
President-elect Biden is moving forward with his transition, but not with a spring in his step. He suffered hairline fractures in his foot while playing with his dog, and his doctor says will likely require a walking boot for several weeks.
Because it's national security.
Mr. Biden got his first official national security briefing and announced an all-female communications team.
So I was just excited to come out here and chat with all of you.
Jen Psaki will be White House press secretary. In addition, Janet Yellen will be the first woman nominated to be Treasury secretary. Neera Tanden is chosen to be White House budget director. But she could face a tough confirmation from Republicans due to her criticism of President Trump on Twitter.
I just think she's going to be radioactive.
Dick Brennan, CBS 2 News.
A key factor in any upcoming confirmation fights which party controls the Senate, and that won't be decided until the 2 runoff elections in Georgia are decided, and that's in early January.
And happening today after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, this is once again Giving Tuesday. The event was started by New York's 92nd Street Y back in 2012 and later spread throughout the nation. It's a day when donations to charity are encouraged. More than 40,000 organizations are taking part this year. Today, PayPal is adding a 1% match to donations and says it hopes to break the Guinness record for the most money raised for charity in a 24-hour period. Now, that's something we could all get behind,
That's
right?
for sure, rooting them on all the way. Coming up, the U.S. Supreme Court weighs a case involving the U.S. Census and immigrants, how it could impact funding where you live.
Plus, shots fired in the middle of the street, and it's all caught on camera. Now, police are searching for the man seen here.